What is going on, YouTube and Yacht Squad? This is your boy Yakrates. Welcome to the Citadel. This is your review for SWV Xscape Queens of R&B Season 1, Episode 2. Um, I'm hearing this is supposed to be like an 8 episode season, which is, I can see it. I think we could have got a lot. And I'ma just tell y'all, as of right now, this is the damn. Well, I'm not calling her Latasha because her name looked like Latocha, so I'ma just call her Latocha or Tocha. I ain't calling her Latasha. I ain't spelled that way. But this the Latocha and Tamika show. Like this is what this looking like. It's Tocha and Tamika. Real talk, because outside of that, it would only be whatever issues that Tocha has with Candy, and then of course her trying to do the solo thing. But anyway, let's go. So we pick up what we left off, where you have Gloria saying that Tamika ain't right. She needs counseling because I don't know the proper term, but just throwing out little like a dig like that. Oh, you need counseling. Baby, everybody needs counseling, especially if you African American or you of African descent, ADOS, whatever. Oh, baby, yeah, yeah. But saying that and then say you gonna bring this crap in here, and I don't think that is that she brought it up, is that she brought it up in front of the cameras. Now I'm gonna say this. I'm the cynical part of me feels like Tamika, you did this on purpose, baby. And the reason that I say this is let's be clear. People who deal with gaslighting, because I've dealt with gaslighting, people will feel the need to want to record something. Or in this instance, she brought her daughter. Her daughter was there partially as an anchor piece where if she got too crazy, her daughter could step in, and her daughter would probably be the only person there that could bring her back down a few notches. But also, there's somebody else here. Even though this is, my child, and of course, they gonna have my back for the most part, within reason. I have someone else here to corroborate the story. So when I tell my story, it's not just, oh, I'm telling it. Someone like, here is someone else. And Tamika even did, um, I think she has a YouTube channel. I saw it off of Bonnie Blue. If y'all subscribe to me, I know y'all subscribe to her. But if you're not, check her out. But she had played it, I believe, on a Bonnie Blue show, and her just going through. So a lot of what I heard here, I had already heard Tamika say on her social media platform. But of course, her daughter was cooperating. And look, gaslighting. She, duh, that's what's going on here. And now, when she said production, either turn the cameras off or get out. Now, see, this the type of petty, the mess, the carrying on that I like. Okay, because for a moment they cut the camera, they cut their mics. I was like, baby, I love it. I love this type of carrying on. And then I don't know why, but all the women go outside, and I'm guessing maybe Tamika was trying to leave. So production put put the cameras back up, and they're technically standing on the front porch, so they're no longer in her house; they're on her property, not in her house, filming all of what is going on. Tamika is in distress, saying, she's been dealing with this her whole life, and she's tired. I believe her. I believe her. I mean, could she be putting 20 on 10? Possibly. But I still believe her. Gloria tells her she should have talked to her. Tamika replies, I already did. You know they stole my money. Gloria says, ain't nobody stole your money. Then she looks at the cameras and say, cut the cameras off. See, I was, one thing about boomers, y'all, I'm like, they have this sense of entitlement that is ridiculous to me. And the fact that she really feels like you can tell this entity what to do, you really can't, especially when you've already signed a release. Now, yes, they're filming in your house, and I mean, within reason, there's but so much that can happen, but that is a production site, so it's like, man, pump your brakes. But okay, all right. So then a question was asked to Tamika by production in her interview. Was your mom angry with you because you put her on blast in front of the cameras? And she was like, yes, because she doesn't want anyone to know her precious daughter did this to her sister. I want y'all to know Tosha ain't said not am word this whole entire time. I find that to be interesting. Now, it's interesting because we do find out from Candy later on this episode that Latasha, I said her name right, Tosha don't say much. And she needs to consult with her brain, her husband, before she says anything. So I'm guessing that's what that is, and we'll go to that in a minute. Um, let me see. Oh, and we also find out that Tamika's daughter, I believe she said daughters, but I know she said her daughter didn't even know about this money being, stolen from her. So Tamika and her daughter, Ocean, get into the car. They're about to leave, and you could tell they've been shooting for a while because now, like this, it seems as if it isn't already sundown, it's almost sundown. And Gloria comes up to the passenger window to talk to Ocean in such a way of I'ma talk to you so you can talk to your mama like your mama ain't sitting right there in the driver's seat. Messy, passive aggressive. Because again, if it's all that, just go talk to your daughter. Why are you talking to your granddaughter in front of your daughter? Like, what is we doing here? Look, on some real stuff, y'all. It I know y'all hear me talk about generations. Y'all need to do y'all research on the generations. What life was like then, what general values were, then you can hold it into where that person was born. And then if you really want it, well, I mean, that's really all that you need. But that right there can tell you a whole lot. And then when you know family dynamics and who raised who, this, that, and the third, it's deep. It's deep. Trust me when I say I know. Um, and then pretty much Amiga says, you know what? It just because she's done. Like you can tell she's spent. She's like, no, I gotta go. I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go. So now we get Candy, Tiny, and Tamika. Tosha was supposed to be there, but she isn't. Tamika thinks it's because of what happened last night. So Tamika downloads the girls, and then Tamika shares with us that when she did tell Gloria, Gloria said to her, and this is something that she shared on her social media. Um, Gloria said to her, maybe you don't know what she was going through. Maybe she needed the money. Excuse me? Excuse me? Okay. Look. I'm gonna let it go. Anyway, and then she says she was pregnant, and then also Ocean was in college, like, and she paid for her. Well, I'll say her and her husband paid for her daughter to go. Paid her way through college. So she was saying, yeah, that 30,000, yeah, we could have used that. So I'm pregnant, putting my baby through school, and I ain't need it. So what she going through, she needed. Okay. So then we found out Gloria then left her a message. Now, before I talk about this message, I do want to say that it's two constructs that I hate with a passion, and that is that of family and that of organized religion. I hate them both because in many scenarios, each one will pretty much convince you that in order to be whole, you have to be a part of this collective, and if not, then you can't be whole. You won't be whole. And then when you don't toe the line and do what you're supposed to do, then it's the whole well go ahead leave because you can't make it without us. And because you have been conditioned, you're seeing life that way, and now you're by yourself, which actually is the blessing. Isolation leads to elevation, but you by yourself, and that is when you best grow. Because here's the thing: the times when you grow the most is when you are the most uncomfortable. That's when you grow the most, and most of the time you get the best success. So, but people tend to not go that route, feel like I can't deal with this alone. So then they come back to that construct where they tail between their legs, ready to do whatever and accept whatever just to be a part of this collective. I know it all too well. I know it all too. And then the worst thing you can do is to separate yourself, become whole by your, because really you really only need yourself to become whole. Because when that happens, you know what your standards are, you know what your boundaries are, what you will and what you won't accept. And when the construct threatens you with, oh well, you won't be invited to this, you won't be a part of that. Okay, and they can't handle it. They don't know how to take it because again, their identities lies within each other because they're not individually whole. Anyway, back so Gloria says to her, she's wrong, putting all the blame on her. Says that Tamika doesn't want to humble herself. Humble herself for what? Humble herself how? Humble herself why? Okay. She needs to listen to hear how hurt her sister was deeply. So here's the thing, you need to prioritize Tosha's feelings over your own. I wish, we're not cursing, I wish I would. You don't have enough God in you to calm down and listen. And see, because they were raised, so not only is it the familial construct subbed right, so you have that right below that is the religious one. So again, and the reality is this, in most organized religions, it's not just the leader of that organization that uses that organized religion to control you. If it's fed to you by your familial construct, they gonna use it against it too, which is why her mama did that right there. I'm like, ooh, see this type of, I know this type of manipulation, y'all. I do. Anyway, and says if I hear you jump on your sister, nothing will keep me from whooping your tail. Sound a little bit like Mama Joyce. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say Mama Joyce because she ain't here, so I can't really tag her too much. And then Tamika says she never says to Tiny and Candy, she never went against her sister, even when it came to them, even when she was dead wrong. And they all was just like, "Thank you for saying it on camera. But yeah, thank you for admitting it." Because a lot of the strife that happened, especially between Candy and Tamika, was the whole thing of her going out of her way to defend her sister by tearing down Candy in such a real nasty way. And again, I commend Candy for, even coming back to this despite that. Because I got it. We get into the bag, but because again, I'm that one where it's just like, baby, you need me more than I need you. No. Y'all know I'm an a-hole. Anyway, back to this. So now we get Tosha and Rocky. Rocky wants to know why his name came up. Then he said he's tired of Tamika bringing up his name. And that he would never. He was appalled. Hell out of here. Then it says if you bring up somebody's name, you got to deal with what comes. Now, my thing is, the hell that's supposed to mean? Because, I mean, let's keep it a buck, bro. I'm pretty sure that Tamika's husband can fold you. Bro, like, don't do too much. And Tamika, if you haven't gotten a forensic accountant to go ahead and check, because I believe you did, but if you haven't, go ahead and do that. Just so you, because it seems like he's possibly going to try to get you for defamation or something else. You need to make sure your ducks in a row so when he shoot that gun, you come back with artillery. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Tosha says Tamika walked in with a stiffness. No, she walked in pretty vibrant. And when she walked up to you, she came to give you a handshake. But you decided that you want to sit here and play it up for your mother. So now you want to give her a hug, but you don't want to say that. Yeah. And then said she was very aggressive. Mm-hmm. It was like she was possessed, going back to the whole spiritual, well, not spiritual, the religious aspect of all of this, and says she doesn't know what's next for the group. You just playing. So now we get Lily and her sister Jeanette. So with the ladies of SWV, we get bits and pieces of, just their day to day, and just a little backstory, a little back history, nothing too crazy. You pretty much a palate cleanser to like lighten up what's going on. So Lily's with her. So her sister Jeanette comes over, and she's a family matriarch after their parents. I believe she said her mother passed first. Well, their mother passed first, and then their father. So she's the one that knows how to cook and all that. She done brought groceries. Now Lily talked about her upbringing, how it was four of them sisters, hand me downs, the whole nine, and pretty much all she wanted was a bed because I mean, look, growing up, it just is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna say I understand it solely because I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, like in my room, it was myself and my middle brother. We had bunk beds, so I mean, I had my own bed. It's just I didn't have my own room. But needless to say, I mean, I'm pretty sure four girls and I think she said it was a two-bedroom apartment or something like that in New York. Yeah, I understand. And even said when she got her first check, she went and bought her a king size mattress. I mean, hey, if that's what you wanted, baby, that's what you wanted. But all I know is the one thing that had me in stitches is Lily was trying to open up a can of biscuits. And when you take the little thing off and it don't open, now what you're supposed to do, and most of it have it written in that seam where you take a spoon and press it up against the seam of it, and then it pops open. Oh no, she took it and started banging it on the edge of the counter, and it popped open, and like several biscuits flew out. I hollered. She said her sister Jeanette is the one that actually knows how to throw down. So I'm like, ooh, Lily, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. I like Lily. So now we get Tamika and Taj. Taj tells Tamika that some of the ideas that she was sharing, in terms of like the production aspect of this collaborative effort, she was thinking the same thing. They here. And then asks if her sibling came around. Tamika downloads her on what happened, and then she begins to cry. Taj is comforting her, and as maybe someone can help you figure out why you blindly follow your sister. And I believe because I believe there was a time that Tamika was isolated from them, and I'm guessing in that time of isolation there was a little bit of clarity, but her still wanted to be a part of this particular construct. And she says to her, I would get my mom's love and approval, but when I didn't, I felt like an outcast. If she didn't so and she pretty much says if she didn't do what they wanted her to do, then she wouldn't receive the love from either one of them. Total manipulation. Total manipulation. And it sucks. It really, but again, it's them convincing her, you need to be a part of us. Like, you need this. And the reality is, Tamika, you are good and you have your own family that you've created. And look, I get it. It will be nice to, be able to have that oneness with your siblings. I long for that myself. But what I'm not going to do is compromise who I am, my morality, my standards, all the progress that I've made as a man to sit here and dumb it down, reduce myself to make somebody else feel good. I ain't got it to do. Especially you older than me too. Hell no. So Taj, I'm gonna cut down what she said. Well, Taj said make it right with your mom, and then maybe making it right with your mom, it could be made right with your sister. F that. And then, but she says, I want you to think about you though. That part. So let's see. Now we at Tiny's her lake house, and this is where they're having the escape meeting. Now Tiny, I believe, has 5 homes. Count them, 5 homes. And see, to me, this is a flex. Okay, this is a flex. Yeah, we gonna have to meet. We gonna have to meet in one of my homes, cause I'm a songwriter. Oh, I'm a singer, but I'm a songwriter and producer. I got Grammys for my penmanship, so you can come see what I got. I'm like, come on with the flex, cause again, everything that Latasha wanted to be to a certain degree, Candy and Tiny has become that, and they have the life that I guess she feels that she really wanted to have. Todd echoed something similar later. I'm just like, okay, Todd, we not always here, but we here. So Tosha feels the meeting is too soon because certain apologies haven't happened. But she's there because of her love for Tiny. The girls don't know how to start off the meeting because Tiny's like, okay, well, how y'all want to start off? Okay, Tasha, do you want to say something? And then then Tiny says, okay, well, let's talk about management. And she feels like, they need, new management because don't like how things are moving. Candy says that the new management they've had for a little over a year, and it's almost just like nothing is moving. And even Tiny's like, I guess what they feel they should have, they're not getting. And Tamika says that the management is very good friends with Tosha and Rocky. I thought it was Rocky, so I'm guessing Rocky is just Tosha's manager, but then management is their friends. Ooh, that is trife. So Tosha says that I'm gonna need to pray about that. And at first I'm like, I can understand it, but then I'm like, because it'd be certain stuff where I'm like, I need to think about that. I need to pray on it, because I don't know, because with certain decisions, really got to. But the way Tasha, Tocha, whatever her name is, been moving, So then Candy tells us that she only said that she wanted to pray about it because she had to go talk to her brand, which is her husband. And then in Tosha's interview, they ask her pretty much like what needs to be done, between her and Tamika for them to move on. Rocky comes over and get to whispered in her ear. And they ask her, what are you telling her? What she need to say? Okay. Tosha says to the girls they need to hold themselves accountable and deal with the issues rather than sweeping them under the rug. But if that's the case, Tiny literally opened up the floor for y'all to bring up anything, and you brought up nothing. I swear she's so full of it. Tiny wants them to put the personal stuff to the side. Pretty much, let's get to this bag. Because and here's the reality. Like I keep saying it, Tiny and Candy don't need this. For them, this is something to do, and they enjoy this. They royalties. They got royalties. They don't need to do this. They be in the studio hard. They don't need this. Y'all need this. Anyway. And then Tosha says, easier said than done. Then Tamika asks, okay, why are you still mad at me? And Tosha says, please. I was like, there's that spirit. And says, we're not going to do this. What we need to talk about involves my mother, and I'm not doing this in front of them. And then Tamika's like, your mother? Our mother. Look, that one part. At first, I didn't want to give it too much because look, I do that all the time. Well, not so much recently, but there'll be times I'll be talking to my middle sibling and be like, "Let me tell you about your mama." like she your mama today. So I get it, but based off of how like their relationship is, yeah, no, I see what she means. And then Tamika tells her, she's not herself. She has a chip on her shoulder. Even lets us know that she misses her sister and the relationship that they had. And Tosha replies, enough said, motions to leave, and says that her and Tamika have to talk. And Candy pretty much says, okay, well, after y'all talk, then we can come back together and we can talk about the business. But that whole thing should have just been about business and nothing else. So Taj goes to Nashville. She's there with her son Eric and her husband Eddie. Taj said it's hard for her to find the balance because they're touring pretty much weekly. Mostly weekends, but sometimes during the week. And says that her son Eric, pretty much because he has been used to her being on the road the majority of his life, he actually wants her gone, but she wants to be there because this is senior year, and this is pretty much a lot of the last stuff that she wants to be there for. And asks Eric, does he know who Xscape is? He don't know who. He's like, I heard the name. How embarrassing. Oh, so you get Coco. She goes home to Virginia. So Mama T greets her. She, is happy to see them. Coco asks if her boyfriend has been there. Mama's like, that's none of your business because they all live there. And I'm looking like, no, because if my name on the deed, my house, okay, hey, look, baby. I mean, now if you gonna have on these bills, then I ain't got nothing to say to you. But if I'm sitting here, front everything, ain't look the only person who getting down is me because I'm paying everything. Okay. So Coco asks Mama T, well, I'm sorry, tells her that Mama T was a session singer and she worked with Luther Vandross before he became Luther Vandross. I call him Luther. I always called him Luther. Y'all shut up, leave me alone. Coco talks about, the industry, and how she has two sons. One son, he's an emo rapper, and then she has Jalen, who knew that he always had a voice, but never thought that he wanted to pursue singing, but that's what he wants to do. Coco, whole thing is, well, he said growing up that he wanted to be a dentist, and now he wants to do this. And for her, she wants him to pursue college because she never got a chance to do that. And Mama T was just saying, look, things change, life changed, and all that. But him wanting this dream of being a singer could change, just like him wanting to be a dentist change. Jalen had that look of, I don't know why y'all talking to me about my life right now. Jalen was, look, he was done. He was not feeling it. He was doing his best to remain respectful because I think he felt disrespected. So now at the Candy Factory, you got Candy, Todd, and the producers. They rehash, the meeting. Todd says, they can't move forward, meaning Candy and Tosha, until she addresses why she hates and resent her. Because, and here's the reality, that is one of the issues there, Candy and Tosha. And now, well, not currently, but now since they've started the show, now there's an issue between Tosha, and Tamika. And Candy feels it's because, it's been happening for so long that she can't pin exactly like what the issue is. And Todd says, no, it's because she can't get past of who she wanted to become, you actually became. Like all of what you have, that's what she was aspiring to get, but she never got it, but you did. And Candy feels deep down in her spirit, Tosha got something else planned because all this resistance, you gotta have something else planned. And now, and it's and it's a couple of reasons. One, if y'all remember when they did their other show and how Tosha was like literally on board with doing the group and Candy wasn't, because she needed that because she wasn't really doing much of anything. So now since that show and they've been touring and now that they did the verses, now it's the whole okay, my name is back out there. Now I can sit here and do something else because if you needed this, you wouldn't be sitting here playing us the way you playing us. And then also Candy is a producer on the show. Like this is her show. She brought this to Bravo. So I'm pretty sure she already knew based off of what was going on that Tosha already had this in the bag, but she gonna have to play it up for the cameras. So we end with Tosha and Rocky. So is their anniversary. Rocky brings up how her and Candy never were on the same page. Tosha feels it's because Candy had an issue with her singing the majority of the leads, thinking that this was setting her up for her solo career. I believe that. I do believe how if that's how Candy felt, because Candy has echoed that. I do believe it because if you listen to their first two albums, it was a pretty decent blend of, if I'll be like of the girls, primarily the two lead vocalists, which were Candy and Tosha, and then you would have Tamika in there, and then you would have splashes of Tiny. Like that is what it was. And then with their second album, I mean, I think it was still the same thing, but you had a little bit more Tamika and Tiny in there, you know. But then when you get to Traces of My Lipstick, you really heard Tosha on the majority of the leads. And all you really heard of Candy, if anything, were just background vocals, harmonies, and whatnot. So yes, I would think that if I'm used to us either going half and half on these vocals, or you have a little bit more to me on this, I have a little bit more on you, to literally I'm the Pips and you Gladys Knight. Yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. And then her saying that Jermaine said that wasn't the case. Now here's the reality: when they bring in different producers for an album or a project, that producer and songwriter, if they're not the same person, has a vision of how they want the song to go, and they've already heard the vocals of the group. They're going to pick who they want to do that song in particular, because they have a certain sound that they want to go with. But I would have to go back to the third album. I don't think they had that many producers and songwriters on there. So I think a lot of that was, Tosha trying to just get what the hell she wanted. But even said that she had pretty much her solo thing going on. And then all of a sudden, her project got shelled. Candy got her a solo deal, and then her album came out, and she feels that the timing was off. Oh, you feel Candy sniped you? Even if she did, I wouldn't even be mad, because you being grimy. Like, if you just be upfront and say, hey, I'm thinking about going solo. I have this opportunity. I know we're a group and we can still be a group, and even be like, how about we do this while we're doing this? I'm in the studio, da 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 da. And then once we get done with this tour, then I can go ahead and drop my project. And while promotion is going on for that project, we can go in the studio, record album number 4, and then once I'm done doing, my album and everything, and at the tail end of that, then we can drop them. You can do that. Other groups have done it successfully. Anyway, so then they meet with Motown Gospel, um, and they're asked, how do you juggle? Like, how are you juggling this? Like, how is that going to work? Tosha says, she has a decision to make. So now the question is, so they don't know that you're meeting with us? Now, I'm going to say this. I'm side-eyeing Motown Gospel, because they were pretty much, because the way they were talking, everything being in alignment, decency, in order, and all these other things, that's not decent and in order. Now, Tasha has a response, but it took her a minute to get the response out, which lets me know that it's BS. And Tosha says, so he's like, so they don't know that you're meeting with us? And Tosha says, no, they don't. Rocky says, oh, I thought they knew. No. Stop lying. And then she's asked, are you intentionally not telling them? And Tosha says she likes to pray and get it done before talking about it. Again, me being the spiritual person that I am, I partially understand. I understood what she was trying to say. She needs somebody to tell her how to navigate this thing. Because the reality is this. There's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about. Now, here's the thing. I do a lot of stuff independently, so I don't have to consult with anybody. But I do a lot of stuff independently. If I were in a group, or if I was working with others, I would have to do that communication. But if I need to keep it to the chest, I do. And I do understand not speaking about something until it's already done. Not telling your right hand what your left hand is doing. Because regardless of what you believe, there's forces, entities, energies, devils, spirits, whatever out there where you get to talking a whole lot. Oh, now there's the sabotage thing going on. Or not everybody that's on the front row is a fan. Some of them just sitting there waiting till boo you and all the other stuff. And so had she tried to explain it that way, I would have understood it. Where it's just, I don't want there to be any spiritual sabotage, so that's why I'm doing this and da 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 da. But you still could have said something. And if you do you really think that Tiny and Candy trying to stop you? And the way that you moving, you ain't gonna be blessed because of it. And see, she only signed up for this show to launch her solo gospel album. That's the reality. And if you were smart, well, see, here's the thing: since you're not a producer, you didn't get to see the edit, so you didn't know how you were truly going to look. But if you were smart and you knew that this blow up happened between you, your sister, in front of your mom, well, with your mom too, what you should have done is you should have been dropping singles, at least 2, within a year before the show dropped, and then a week before the show dropped, or maybe even a month before the promos came out, drop your album so people can support it without knowing the bull. Because now that we seeing this, ain't nobody gonna want to buy your stuff. So anyway, they understand her reasoning, and then the guy was like, so in a roundabout way, can you sing on a dime? She's, does a little yang 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 of a song that she did, and they're like, they see space for her there, but what about Xscape? She doesn't know. Whatever. That's it. I gave y'all more than what I thought that I would, but y'all know when we start talking, start talking about family constructs and whatnot, we're gonna be here for a while. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I will get y'all jersey. I'm gonna just have to do a twofer because I had started. Life happened. It is what it is. And you will get Love Marriage DC. If not later on this week, you'll just get a twofer come Sunday morning. So yeah, with that being said, thanks all so much for watching. Also, make sure that you watch all of the other people from the Whether You Like It or Not panel, because they're doing the show too. Also, make sure, I'm trying to get the days right. Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Wednesday, roast and review of this show. Is it? I believe it's Wednesday. It's supposed to be on Terrence's channel, Give You the Real Tea. And make sure you support my bros. All right. Make sure y'all do that. And yeah, I'll see y'all for the next video. Peace out.